Good evening, everyone. Steve Forrest here, nay, Richard Copperthwaite. Thanks for joining us for another weekly edition of the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County. Very, very happy to have Mr. Nick Mumley back with us after a trip to my old haunts in North Carolina, which I'm sure we'll get into. Yeah. And Mr. James Levy. It's not every week, probably not every month we get James. James, good to have you back on the set.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. The Nighthawk will be back with us next week. Okay, you guys are the sports guy. Nick, you're on top of everything. Aren't the Red Sox one of your top sports stories at this point?
Of the entire year, Richard. I mean, they're at 80 wins, and it's, what, August 7th?
Unreal. They're playing 700 baseball.
Right.
The Yankees, they swept the Yankees out of Beantown, of course, ending last weekend
You're
with
putting salt in an open wound.
And what about Sunday? The Sunday night Yankees loss.
Oh,
that's got to be one of their worst losses in a long time.
Yeah, that whole
4-1 lead,
right.
Chapman in the game, and
right.
they can't win the game.
I saw it coming on.
Did you really?
He hadn't pitched in 6 days. He was sweating profusely.
Yeah, I saw
and you could just see he's self-destructing.
Yeah, and walks never help. I mean,
no,
geez.
and old Miguel there with the air. Oh God.
Yep, bad error by the lousy.
After that happened, I turned off the TV. It just was too painful.
I can understand.
But I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was a foregone
conclusion.
And David Price finally, although probably a little less pressure, had the Red Sox having won the first 3 games of that series. Probably less pressure on Price, but still, I think that was very important.
He faced a weakened Yankees lineup.
Yeah, that's a good
too,
point. But still,
well, not only that,
game,
but he had not pitched well against the Yankees. He was superb. He was superb.
He was.
Yeah, he came out, had a good enough game. I believe it was like 5 shutout innings up until that 6th inning.
Maybe even 6+. I think he walked 2 guys.
Yeah,
maybe
he gave up 2 earned there in the 6th inning. So.
That's right, and the Yankees playing small ball. And,
and the Yankees actually got ahead at that point. But no, Price pitched a much better game than usual against the Yankees. But so what about the Yanks? So they've got to be a little worried about even grabbing a wild card at this point.
Oakland is breathing a little.
What about Oakland and Seattle are both right there.
In fact, if the Oakland got a tenth of the attention of the Reds, that might be a bigger story than the Red Sox. Where did Oakland come from?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, they put together against all odds a very good year.
Right.
And they just picked up another decent starting pitcher, right?
Yeah.
They just got another starter.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, the Yankees, I mean, I think that the 4-game set over the weekend was just kind of a blip on the radar for them. I do think that they'll still come out and be in the playoffs. It's probably going to be the wild card of this game. At this point, I don't see them making up.
They're not going to make up 9 games.
Right,
You're kidding me? It's August already.
Right.
Yeah.
And where's Bucky Dent now? We really need him.
Bucky bleeping Dent. Yes, who could forget Bucky?
But
well, you do have Aaron Boone. You got Aaron hanging around.
Maybe.
Aaron hit a pretty good home run against the Red Sox.
That's true.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Mr. Wakefield probably recalls. Wake, who played some very good ball in that series too.
Yeah.
But just the momentum that the Red Sox were able to gain from that series was just it's so big for them. You know, the way with Steve Pearce coming out and hitting the 4 home runs in the first 10 innings.
Oh, is that right? Ex-Yankee.
The series. Yep. And
Nunez, of course, not a great player, but a decent player. Another ex-Yankee.
And with that coming off the trade deadline, where the Yankees did so much, and I don't really think they got a whole lot better with what they did.
Oh, he got worse. Britton, how he blew the save last night.
Oh, is that right?
He blew the save last night. Yeah.
Really?
With the Yankees. Wow. I mean, I just think that they completely blew the trade deadline because they had so much that they could have.
Before we go there,
moved.
Lynn
pitched very well against the White Sox.
Well, he's had, I think, 11 innings of shutout ball. Right. He did 4 in relief, and
picking
then
up for
7.
Sonny Gray having been turning in a pathetic effort.
He was terrible in Minnesota, but he's for the moment knocking wood. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what Hap does. Foot and mouth disease is what.
When I first heard on radio, heard that reference, I thought whoever I was listening to was like kidding or something. That's literally what he's got, I guess. Huh?
Syndergaard had it too.
We'll come back to this. We've got our first call. Thanks, caller. Go ahead. You're on the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Bobby, how you doing? Good. Hey, you'll never guess what I spent some time doing today, Bobby.
What did you do?
How about some kayaking? Do you believe me? Can you believe that?
Oh, good enough. It's never too late.
No, I got plenty of time. But hey, good to hear from. So what about the Red? I'm almost scared. Things almost seem to be going too well for our guys. What do you think?
I mean, they don't know how to lose.
Well,
Not a bad problem
to have. I mean, just everything's clicking, and we can sit here and we got to do this, we got to do that, but whatever Cora does is working.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot be a critic of anything with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
If they were slumping, I could sit here and be a Monday morning armchair quarterback, but geez, they bought into his program. I've never seen a tighter team, and I think that's got to do with it. They pick each other up and everything.
Yeah.
They're just a great, wherever we end up at the end of the year, like I said before, if we don't win the World Series, fine. I'm just enjoying every game this season. Now, we usually watch, my wife and I, a good part of the game every night on Nest, and it's just it's every night entertainment, So it's been good. Now, Jim, watching the Yankees over the weekend, and they have a very talented team. They have a lot of good players, but correct me if I'm wrong, they look a little bit poorly coached, a little sloppy in the field. They do not look crisp, but they are very talented. Do you think if they slump or slide or don't get to where they expect to be in the playoffs this year, Aaron Boone could possibly be looking for another job?
No, I think he's done a superb job,
so.
actually, and I was a Joe Girardi fan, but what I think
I like Joe.
Yeah, what I think Aaron brings to the table that Joe didn't is the ability to communicate with the younger players, with the media, and I think the problem the Yankees have, they knew going into the season that go as far as the rotation would take them, and surprise, surprise, the rotation is probably about what most objective folks would have figured it could turn out. A few injuries here and there, and some other guys, particularly Sonny Gray, performing terribly. And the other problem is they have all these prospects, and they also had sufficient money to make a trade, to do something before July 30th, the trade deadline, but there was no one out there. So I think in retrospect, if they could have gotten Jared Cole from Pittsburgh, and the holdup was they didn't want to throw in Andujar, Miguel Andujar, to make it happen. But if they had traded Miguel and Fraser, they would have had Cole in that rotation, but they didn't want to do it. So I don't think the defense has been there. They've had injuries, but so have the Red Sox have had some injuries too, and they seem to have adapted better than the Yankees have. Sanchez is having a horrible year, just horrible. But on the other hand, Romine, who would have thought that Romine would be hitting, 270 and 8 home runs. So, I mean...
he's been pretty solid, too, behind the plate.
Yeah, he has. So I think the defense is not really that great. I think the Red Sox are far better defensively. Even a guy like Gleyber Torres, who's going to be an all-star, 18 home runs so far, who would have thought that? But his defense hasn't been as great. You've seen glimpses of it, but consistency. I guess that's the word missing. Consistency. There'll be some great plays, but then routine plays kind of don't come about. And then when you have Sanchez behind the plate with 10, 12 pass balls, that's not good. So I think it's a young team the Yankees have by and large. I think with what was out there, they did well to get Happ and Lynn and Britton, although Britton has been horrible since he's come over, but we'll see. And ironically, Sonny Gray, now that he's in the bullpen, he did masterfully last night. He pitched three shutout innings in relief and got the win.
He's been
maybe that's what they need. Of course, Lance Lynn came over.
Yeah, he was terrible. Lynn was terrible in Minnesota, and he's lights out at the Yankees.
He pitched really well against Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what do you feel about Sanchez? Do you think, out of first base, the Yankees haven't got a whole lot of production this year?
No, they haven't.
Would you play with the idea of if you were coaching, like over the winter, like maybe have Sanchez buy a first baseman's mitt and try first base?
You know what I
mean,
would
he's actually too young for a DH
no,
right now.
no.
But,
what
you know,
I would do, I would keep Sanchez behind the plate. He has a rifle for an arm. Apparently, he's not that bad in calling the game. He's just terrible with the pass balls. I think that's something correctable, and I would keep him there. But what I would consider is moving Andujar from third base to first base because he's made a lot of errors, throwing errors, all kinds of stuff. But I wouldn't give up on Greg Bird yet. I think remember, he's been injured for the last 2 years. He's, for the first time, is uninjured, but is sort of like the end of spring training for him. And he almost hit a home run, I think, 2 games ago. I think he has a lot of potential. I wouldn't give up on Greg Bird just yet, but I think about moving Andujar from third to first, and maybe during the offseason going all out and getting that shortstop from the LA Dodgers there, right?
Well, I think that it's kind of played out right now. The Yankees are this bad team simply because they're 9 games behind the Red Sox. But I think the Yankees are doing just fine. You look at it; they're still 28 games. They're 70 and 42 right now.
Right?
They're still on pace for 100 wins. The only problem is that they're behind a team that might just go out and break the all-time wins record.
I think they will. I don't.
I mean, it's the Yankees. Like, I think that firing Aaron Boone would just be crazy. I think that they don't really need to make a whole lot of changes.
They don't.
They've got a really young team that's going to be really good. The Red Sox are built to win now. 2-3 years from now, as much as I hate to say it, the Red Sox are going to be an 80-win team.
And they don't have
Well,
a good track
I wouldn't go
record
that
of
far
keeping
yet,
a good
but-
young star. How often do they keep these guys
Exactly.
around?
I think they might, but
They have no farm system. I mean, they're going to have to pay all these guys. They're
well,
guys
the
like
farm system is in the field right now. That they're
Right.
benefiting from a former awesome farm system. They're all playing the field, and as long as they have pitching and their staff is pretty good, they'll win over 80 games for a long time. I mean,
it's one of
80
those things.
isn't hard to win when you have, a fairly decent team and some pitching,
Right.
and I think they have both that. So I don't think you're going to see those guys, slump in any time in the near future.
I just think that the Yankees 2 to 3 years down the line are going to be.
well, they have
way
in
ahead
the
of the Red Sox.
pipeline. I mean, the thing about the Yankees, I really think they had the best farm system anywhere. Maybe not in the top 50 prospects. Give that maybe to Atlanta or some other team. But if you take the top 100 prospects, you use that as your standard. They're there, and even now, if you look at the international signings, they've signed, I think, 5 of the top 12 international.
And they got a bunch of money to make even more during the trade
But they're
deadline.
doing it. But if they, as I say, that Machado, that third baseman, shortstop now from Baltimore to
The
L.A.
Dodgers, yeah.
Dodgers, they sign him, move him to third base, move Andujar between first and designated hitter. That would be a great move in
Well,
my
at that
mind.
point, what are you going to do with Didi?
Didi, you keep it short. He's a much better shortstop than Machado defensively. He's a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. You keep him there, and he's hitting okay. I would not move him out of there.
If I'm the Yankees, ultimately what I do is if you're able to land Machado, you put Andujar at short, and
Andujar at short
yeah, why not?
because of his fielding. I don't think
I
he's.
think that he's clearly he couldn't make the throws. He can't. He's not able to make the throws right now. But I mean, he's also what, 20 years old.
Oh
The
yeah,
same problems that were with
Well,
Rafael
maybe
Devers
keep him at
last
third.
year.
I'd keep him. I wouldn't move him to short though. No way. If he's
I
having
think-
trouble at third, just multiply that by 2 if he's at short.
I just think that it makes it so, you might get more balls hit to you, but it makes the throw a little bit shorter.
Maybe.
And then if you can get that on your corner, I would trade Didi for a good pitcher. I mean,
I don't think you need a trade, Didi. There'll
I
be
think
some
they'll be in the
guys
market
out
for
there, and
pitching
I think
as
during the
well as,
offseason.
everybody else.
Plus, the Yankees do have some good prospects in starting
Right,
pitching in
Sheffield,
the
Montgomery,
yeah,
yeah.
not only all the way through. The number one pick from last year, Schmidt, I think is his name, had a rotator cuff
Sheffield
Tommy
is
John
a top one,
surgery,
too.
and I think he'll be there. So.
Bobby, what about a little concern, Mr. Craig Kimbrell? Not exactly knocking him dead lately. You a little concerned about the Sox closer?
Yeah, he goes through these, but he always drives me crazy pitching.
Yeah.
He throws 30 pitches every time he comes out.
Yeah.
And, his numbers are good, but I think half of it, he'll throw the first 2 balls 3 feet outside and 2 feet high.
Yeah.
And the next pitch will be 98 miles an hour down the middle. The next pitch will be just over the guy's batter's head. I mean, you never know where his pitches are going. I think the hitters get in there and they're scared to death. I mean,
I would be.
He's like a
he
wild
throws
thing
30
in the
pitches
Major
an
League.
inning, and he throws hard, but he's kind of a wild man a little bit, he's got to settle down a little bit and try to work those pitches around the plate a little bit more. But, he'll throw in the dirt, but like I said, then he will get one over the plate, and, the guy can throw. But, I have a little bit of concern right now. I just hope it's a little slump and he works his way through it. But, he hasn't looked good the last couple outings.
Yeah,
This is kind of a scary stat for Red Sox fans, as the Red Sox are just going for such an incredible season. You could probably tell me the teams with the most wins. Seattle Mariners are in there. The Yankees probably, but of the teams who had the 5, biggest winning
Cleveland, don't
seasons in
forget
baseball,
Cleveland.
guess how many World Series winners came out of those 5 teams? About 1.
I know Seattle was.
So
out in the
again,
first round
postseason
that
is a
year.
different
Yeah,
ball
that's-
game, but
that's why I couldn't care less what the Red Sox do,
Yeah.
as long as they win the division, get home field, make the playoffs.
Chris Sale,
if they win
Chris
102
Sale
games
healthy.
and put a
Yeah.
AAA lineup
Yeah.
out on the field for the entire month of September,
Yeah.
I do not care, as long as everyone is well rested. Chris Sale's able to pitch come October, and they can get to the World
And I
Series.
guess Chris is Sale's coming back this weekend, I guess.
Yep, he's
Boy, I
pitching
hope,
as
I hope they're
Baltimore
not
does.
bashful
Yeah,
about
he's
giving
gonna
him an
pitch,
extra
I
day
guess.
of rest.
Right, he should
almost
be
every
getting
week.
he should be
They
getting
had the
as
power
much rest as he
rankings
can.
today. I
Yeah.
looked at, and they had the Red Sox, the Yankees, then the Astros, then the Dodgers.
Yeah,
Those are your
that's about
top
right.
4. And as we talked about all year, it's ironic where the powerhouses are in the American League. With of course the Red Sox, Yankees, and Houston, Houston's been chugging along, but they've had their share of injuries as well. So, they'll be back. Altuve will be back in Korea. The shortstop will be back, and
they'll be ready to go.
Springer jammed his thumb this week. He's a awesome center fielder there. But this time of year, I think everyone gets a little bit tired, and when you're tired, you're more apt to get an injury. It's a very long season,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. For the record, as I've acknowledged a bunch
Nick,
of
I
times.
love your T-shirt, your Tar Heel shirt. I've got one like that, or I had one like that. I'm not sure. But are you a Tar Heel fan?
Yeah, we were just down there.
You're still pondering Duke and Carolina, right, Nick?
Absolutely not. No, never.
Yeah. Go with the
Don't
shirt.
talk to me about it, Duke.
Bobby, I was going to point out, I wanted to make sure you were aware of what shirt Nick was wearing, and you are.
Yeah. Yeah, we were
Nick was
just
just down there.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
we
let
were
you
just down
guys
there for a
go
week.
and have a good show.
Hey, thanks for
thank you.
calling, Bobby. Thanks. Yeah, give us a little, so again, a good trip to North Carolina.
Oh yeah, we went down there. We were in the Raleigh area for a week, and
Yeah, of course, the triangle, as it's known,
Yep.
which you sure references do, which is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill.
we caught Durham Bulls game, which was
Wow.
really cool.
Right.
Went to NC State, went to UNC, went and saw the Duke campus and Cameron Indoor Stadium, which was pretty cool. Even though
You didn't get in. Was it locked? Did you try to get in?
there was a front entrance that I could kind of go into, and there's like a museum in there. And then
Yeah.
I tried to get into the actual stadium, but they weren't having that. So But still,
You didn't
pretty
go up
cool.
and visit Coach K.
No, Coach
I think
K
Coach
was
K's
not
got
on
better
the
security
premises.
than the White House. And in fact,
Probably,
I've never
yeah.
been particularly impressed with the White House security, but Coach K's in a lot better shape with his
Yeah.
palace next to Cameron Indoor.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
good. So good trip.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
James, we haven't seen you for a while.
True.
Boy, it sounds like you've been battling some physical stuff, but you're making some progress
Yeah,
here?
yeah. The rotator cuff. What can I say? I'm getting there.
Yeah.
What I'm learning is it's a long recovery period. I thought it would be 4 or 5 months. It's a
From
year. It's a year.
rotator cuff.
Rotator cuff. Yeah.
Wow.
torn
Is that
rot-
right? About a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not in any pain really, and I can do most things. But I was unable to take my sailboat out this
Really?
year
No, is
because
that
of
right?
that. Couldn't take the motorcycle, but I found a new toy. It's an electronic bike. Actually, I'm wearing a hat from it. We're talking rad power bikes, and it's the greatest thing since chopped liver, as far as I'm concerned.
So this has been, you're loving this?
It's the greatest thing I've bought in the last several years. And folks, I'm not a paid agent for rad power bikes.
But you'd be happy to be. You'd be happy to be probably.
But it's my proclivity to promote anything that I really am excited about. And essentially, you're getting for $1,500 a $5,000 bike because they have no distributors or dealers. And what this is, it's a fat-tired electronic bike. And I can use it like as a mountain bike, and I can use it as a regular bike. You have a throttle so that instead of having my motorcycle, which I can't do with the shoulder, I can use it in the same manner. Or I can go out and ride it, and with the power assist, I can gear it up at different levels, and it has gear shifting. So if you're interested, go to their website. And the thing that gives it away, the last time I looked, there were 218 ratings of this bike, the Rad Rover. And of the 218, 214 were 5 stars.
That's unreal.
And 4 were 4 stars. It's wonderful. And if any of you folks out there are cycle enthusiasts, this will enable you to do things and go longer distances than you ever imagined was possible, and essentially prolongs the biking season, and I think it's great. So now I've done my promotional
So sorry,
endeavor.
where are you riding this thing?
Well, you can do it anywhere, like downtown. You can commute to camp, as I might want to do, go on the rail trail,
And
go
speed,
up
sorry,
French Hill.
max speed, did you tell me that?
Yeah, I can go up a hill at 20 miles an hour. And the nice thing about it is I can go out with cyclists who are far more adept than I am, but I can keep pace with them and even surpass them, and I don't feel I'm limited as to where I'm going. And other things I can do, I can go over to Hardack, for example, and go on some of the cross-country ski trails, which I had skied last winter, and I wouldn't feel comfortable on a mountain bike. But why? Because this thing has fat tires, and also the electric capability, when you need a little bit of power, it's there for you. So it's opened a whole plethora of possibilities that otherwise would not have been there for me, and I'm very grateful for that.
Interesting.
So that's one thing I've been doing a lot of.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I might try golf for the first time next week. My surgeon says I can do it as long as I don't go for divots and I have some rhythm. So ironically, I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, I'll be a better golfer than before because I'm a terrible golfer, but a lot of it is because I yank at it and hit with vengeance, whereas I think the better golfers do it with rhythm and slow it down. So maybe I'll do that. But in general, it's been a sedentary summer, and I've had to pursue cerebral intellectual pursuit, which is not in keeping with my anti-nerd current demeanor. So,
Gotcha. Well, hey, I'd love to get some more calls. Again, our number, 528-5315, 528-5350. And hey, speaking of golf, the last of golf's majors, and this will be the last PGA in August. Forever's a long time, but for any time in the near future, because the PGA and a big shakeup on the golf circuit is moving to May next year.
Really?
So we have our last August PGA. It's in the St. Louis area. I'm not familiar with this course. I give you Bellerive Country Club. I guess I should be. But what's interesting, Tiger, of course, is in the field. Tiger, who's been playing some fairly decent golf. He actually, had the last round lead for a while at the Open Championship, the British Open. But he's been playing some fairly decent golf. But this is a story by Doug Ferguson, your veteran Associated Press golf writer, and talking about Tiger, and says, rain pounded Bellerive Country Club, twice suspending practice rounds. Tiger Woods played only 5 holes on the course. He last saw the course the day after the September 11 terrorist attacks, a few hours before the American Express Championship at that course, obviously, was canceled. So anyway, Nick, you're not a big golfing guy.
I'll go golfing. I don't
You play
really,
some golf, but you don't follow it that much.
I don't really follow it all that closely. I mean, I couldn't tell you who won any given tournament really this year.
Justin Thomas is the most recent one. One of your great young golfers just won
Yeah.
at Firestone. He's coming off another win. And James, you don't pay a lot of attention to the tour?
I'm like Nick. To me, playing golf is getting out and walking the course maybe or whatever. And I enjoy so much the process. I like playing it even though I'm awful. God, am I awful. But having said that, I enjoy it. But I don't follow that anymore, and I follow tennis generally. Those are activities I'd like to engage in but not follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just looking for tee
I'll watch
times, and I'm not seeing them.
And I usually will watch the Masters every year, but I mean, and if there's nothing else on TV and I see that there's a tournament on, or if Tiger's teeing off, then I might tune in for a little bit. But I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah,
but
but
it is
baseball.
it's
But
the last,
to be
it's the
fair,
last major.
I think I'm a very good skier. That's my best sport, and I love skiing. That's probably the sport I enjoy most. But I couldn't tell you anything about professional ski racing, and I just don't follow it. That's the sports that I enjoy engaging in. I don't really watch. And in contrast, I love professional football. I love professional baseball and basketball, and I won't engage in that. I guess the crossover was I'd play hockey. Not very good at that.
And is your hockey career over? Did your shoulder or not necessarily?
I think it probably is because this rotator cuff injury, and I also tore my bicep as well, all in one fall.
Geez, tough year.
Self-inflicted wound, and I'm getting tired of that. And so I'm not saying never, but it's unlikely. Something's wacky when some of the better players in your league were teammates of your sons, and maybe I do have to grow up. I don't want to, but
No, don't
maybe I
grow
have
up.
to.
We don't want you to. We don't want you to.
So
do
I'm
that.
not saying never, but it's kind of stupid keeping up with guys in their 20s and 30s, and
Looks like we have a.
I'm huffing and puffing.
Guess we have a call. Thank you, caller. Go ahead. Fire away.
Yes, gentlemen, how you guys doing tonight?
Hey, I recognize that voice. How you
Yeah.
doing, David?
I heard that Jim Levy was going to be on there, so I had to call in and
There he
for
is.
being on the show.
Yeah,
Good.
there he is.
Hi,
He's right in
Dave.
front of you.
Hey, I heard some talk. I was out to the Highgate Field Days, and they had 19,000 people out there this year to the
Good.
field days. But I also heard, and Richard, maybe you can check into this, whether it's scuttlebutt, is that there's talk about putting Federal Express up there at the airport, and we might not have the Franklin County Field Days.
Boy, I've definitely heard. There's definitely been some talk about, I think, a longer runway, and again with cargo
Really?
planes like Fed Express. I've heard that, but I had not heard anybody suggest that the field days were threatened, David. Wow, I was up there on the first night. I was up there Thursday.
Yep.
Boy, that's interesting. That's the first I've heard of that. Yeah, I'll talk to some folks, but I certainly hope that's not the case. Talk about a good Franklin County tradition. Of course, the Grateful Dead
Sure.
made the site famous in '94 and '95, so I sure hope that's not right. But I have heard, it sounds like there may be changes coming to the airport, but I haven't heard any field days connection about it.
They had to build a new parking lot kind of on the side of the grounds because they weren't able to park in the airport field, I guess you could call it,
Oh, is that right?
Newark, like across the street.
Oh, okay,
there.
because I was there Thursday when it wasn't a huge crowd, and I parked
Yeah.
just on the field days
Yeah,
side.
I was down there Thursday.
Oh,
for
is that
the
right? So they weren't letting
demolition
people
derby, yeah.
park on the west
Yeah.
side of the access road?
No, you had to
Really?
go down behind the whole
No, really?
area, and then they had like at the very north of the
Huh,
of the
interesting.
grounds, they had a new parking lot there because the airport said, I guess, they were possibly going to be
Really?
building there. But
So David,
they
who
weren't
you
building
got? You
anything,
got that
so-
word from like one person or a few people or what?
I heard it from different people out there, at the field days, and
Huh.
that's a big income to the Franklin County Field Days, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a big
Swanton
loss.
people, restaurants and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure they could
You
find
know,
a
they'll
different place
find
to
it.
put it
It's not
too.
true.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Before the current site, there was an earlier site.
That's a good
25
memory. In fact, I go
Yeah.
back long enough around here. I remember, I think the field days had gone away for a while, and Doug Webb, J. Douglas
Yeah,
Brother
yeah, yeah,
Fairfax,
yeah. Right.
and Nellie. Who could
Right.
forget the Webbs? couple of great
Was
folks.
it in Fairfax
Doug,
originally?
yeah,
I
Doug
think
brought
so.
it. I was one of my early years up here. I'm guessing late 70s,
Yeah.
circa 1980. It had been hadn't been happening for a while. Doug Webb, a tireless promoter of
Yeah.
dairy farmer, big maple producer, I think brought it back, if not single-handedly. He was a key
Yeah.
guy, and it was at the Fairfax Riding and
There
Driving
you go.
Club
Now,
off Route
yes,
104.
yes.
That's a great memory.
Really?
Yeah.
And then I think
Well,
a few
partial was great.
years later, they moved it to the bigger site and it's at its current site.
Wow.
So
Long
if this
before
were
my
to
time.
happen, I think it'd be great if we had Federal Express or whatever up at the
Yeah.
airport, and I think the field days have to continue at a different locale.
Hopefully they'd find a different locale. Of course, they built over the years, they've added to the site, they built a number of more permanent buildings.
Yeah.
Each year, it seems like
Sure.
they add another building.
Right.
You know
But
what I miss?
hopefully, worst case scenario, hopefully they'd find another
The
site.
Swanton Festival. Remember that?
I remember Swanton Summer
Boy,
Festival.
that I really miss.
I miss that too.
Yeah, that was so great.
I barely remember that. That
Yeah.
went away.
Of
when
course,
I
they
was-
had kind of
real
not
little.
exactly a substitute, but the annual
No, it wasn't.
Chambers Car Show is a good show.
Yeah.
And they've got a big event coming up, an art show in Swanton later in August, and I think fireworks are hooked into that.
Nice,
So I think
nice.
they've got one more big event coming up in Swanton. David, any sports for us?
Well, I'm not too much into sports. I'm mostly a working person. I have
Yeah.
to go
Good for
around and
you.
help people clean out their garages like Richard.
I can. Anybody who questions David's working ability, talk to me. This guy has a work ethic that we seem to be losing, that seems to be lacking a bit these days. Yeah. This guy works. David, great job. I've got a car that'll fit in my garage for the first time in decades, largely courtesy of Mr. McWilliams
Really?
and his hard work in his pickup truck.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah,
Hey, Dave, what about
he
Lake
wanted
Mine?
Somebody that wasn't afraid to get in and do some work. So
Hey,
that's why he asked me.
have you caught any Lake Monsters games this summer?
I haven't had a chance. I've actually been quite busy. My sister-in-law took and had a stroke, and
Oh, my.
we've had to move her twice. So,
Yeah.
and then my brother, we had to put him in a nursing home. So it's been quite busy. So I'd like to get there before the end of the season. And hey, Jim, what do you think about Main Street? They're going to tear down those buildings there.
Actually, I think it's a great idea. I'm
Yeah,
very
that's
much
pretty
in-
close
I
to your
think it's no. I think it will. It's a very ingenious way of revitalizing the downtown. My criticism to this point had been that it's great, all this fantastic new infrastructure and so forth, but there are a lot of empty storefronts, at least on North Main Street, and so now with this new project, I think that's going to take care of a lot of the problems, and I think you need to energize people to come to downtown St. Albans, and with 4 new retail stores on the first floor, and then you're going to have the Community College of Vermont on the second floor, and the third floor you will have Northwest Medical Center's office facility or an office facility, and then 60 units of housing beyond that, 30 lower income and 30 market housing. I think it's great. The one thing that I'm a little skeptical about is parking, because that could really cause a huge issue in traffic. But the concept is wonderful, and I don't think that too many communities in Vermont that can boast about the different projects going from one to another. And I was very skeptical 3 or 4 years ago, but I was wrong, and the folks that were saying just sit around and wait, good things are going to happen, I think they were correct. I think it's a very good series of projects, and if we get the traffic and parking under control, it'll be great.
Yeah, the city needed a facelift because it was 40 years behind, so it does look better. And my only gripe is those jet outs in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that was, in retrospect, not the greatest thing because we have a parking problem to begin with, and now this is worse. And then also for people who have any type of difficulties in walking up steps or whatever, it certainly doesn't make life easier. And in winter, it can be a real hazard. It looks good, but it really isn't, I think, helpful. So, yeah, I can criticize that, but aesthetically, it does look wonderful. But I think if we can fill up these empty storefronts and have people coming to downtown St. Albans for a reason, and if the merchants stay open late and open earlier, I think some exciting things could happen.
Yeah, well, Alan Rotor is retiring at the end of the month.
That's a real shame. He's, in my view, probably the very best city employee, other than yourself, of course, David, that we have had available to us in the last 30 years.
Wow, that's high praise.
I believe it. I think many have come and gone, and he's in a class of his own. He's a decent human being as well as a superb administrator, and he knows his department, always stepped out to help people, and he will be sorely missed.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Brian Burns put his application in for it.
He's a good man. I think he'd be an excellent replacement, and in time, maybe 30 years from now, if I'm around, I'll say the same things about Brian if he takes that position.
Yeah, I just hope they put somebody in qualified. I heard
I'm
talk
with
on
you.
the street.
Yeah, he's a good. Brian has done an excellent job.
He's not qualified to be in that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I just hope they get somebody because the highway department, you got all new employees down there. There's a lot of new employees. The other ones have retired and gone on. So, sewer plant's looking good. I've been down there bringing my recyclables down there, and
good for you.
That's starting to take shape. $18 million, and I'm hoping sooner or later the city and town can go into a water and wastewater district, but I'll probably be dead and buried before that ever happens.
Yeah, don't be holding your breath on anything related to that issue.
Well, since this is a sports show, I'll let you go. I imagine, Rick Tate will be back this weekend there. I took him to Montreal and got stuck on the other side of the border for 2.5 hours waiting in line.
David, say that again. Coming back, you were stuck?
Yeah, the traffic, they had 5 ports open, which is the maximum, and I waited 2.5 hours on the other side of the border.
When was it? What day of the week? What time?
Last Saturday.
Saturday.
Last Saturday.
What time of the day Saturday?
Wow.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, that
was this construction holiday or something, James?
I think you're right, Richard. But
it must have been
I tried to find
something.
another way because my younger days, I used to go up through Alberg that way, but
yeah, you should try that. Or Morse's line. Try Morse's line. That's the way to come across.
Well, I do. I just always come back through Rouse. I almost always come back at least through Rouse's Point.
Really.
I mean, just the interstate. The I-87 extension. Just no traffic and stuff. I think that's what I always do.
What kills me in Montreal, though, is they have so much construction. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Of course, and you're up there. You're up there.
Oh, God, did I have a horror show. So I figured I'd be smart because all the time on the Champlain Bridge is, 1 lane, 2 lanes. So I figured, hey, I'm going to be smart about this. So I went across the Jacques Cartier, no problem, until you get to the point where you're on 20 and you want to go to 10, right? Yeah. So you go the way I always do. You go off, and would you believe they're routing all the traffic so there's like a strip of maybe 300 feet you have to go to get on. You're beyond the Champlain Bridge and you're on the 10. That's all blocked off, and they're routing you back to Montreal.
Really?
So I had to go back across the Champlain Bridge.
You serious?
And then go downtown, turn around, and go across the Champlain Bridge.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Wow.
That delayed me another 45 minutes.
Wow.
So It's crazy. They have so much construction
Yeah.
in Montreal per se. It's you want to
Seems
tear
to
your
be
hair
just the
out.
one issue of the city. I mean, it's such a, you know the city infinitely better than I do.
Yeah.
But great city. Just traffic congestion seems to be the one killer
It's
issue
a
up there.
killer in this time of the year, and they have so many projects simultaneously going on.
Although I
and-
guess I should give them some, the new Champlain Bridge. You see it a lot more than
oh
me.
yeah, yeah.
Aren't they going to get this done in like less than 2 years or something?
I think the last I heard it was like maybe 2021 or 22.
Boy, I'm hearing.
Yeah,
I think it's even sooner than that.
You might. I don't think.
But then I hear the time frame over in the islands to the new drawbridge between Grand Isle and North Hero. Guess what? That's supposed to be like a 4-year project.
Really,
And I'm sure this is a significant bridge, but they're going to get a new I think it's like a 2-year period or something.
But what drives me crazy, if you're going across the Champlain Bridge, say it's midnight or something, and they have 2 lanes blocked off, and you keep going, where's the work, where's the work, where's the work? And you finally get to a point, and there's maybe a strip of 100 feet where there's some workers, and maybe they needed to block all 1 lane, or but it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a tough
There's no
one.
respect, respect for the motor vehicle public.
But David, you got those folks up there in time?
Yeah, I got them up there in time. Had no problem driving in, no problem driving out. But I got them back to the border, and that's where
That's where all hell broke loose.
Remember Rouse's Point or Alberg next time, or maybe
Morse's line.
or
Morse's
Richford.
line's a good spot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
boy,
I
that's
agree.
tough.
So, by the way, I did see that we got 4 players from the Lake Monsters are going to be in the playoffs or something like that.
No, All-Star game, yeah.
All-Star game. I was about to talk Lake Monsters.
Yeah, well, I'll let you go then. Take it easy, guys.
Hey,
Take care,
thanks for
David.
calling.
Good
But
to see you.
I've got the Lake Monsters schedule next. Well, this is a little unusual. 10 out of 12 games on the road. That's quite a road stretch for a half-season team. They're on the road now, but they will be back Saturday night, fireworks Saturday night.
Are the Staten
6:00
Island Yankees coming back?
Let me see. I've got Lowell's coming back. The Red Sox affiliate. Yep, Staten Island. Actually,
When?
it's the road. I'm sorry.
Well, a cool
Staten
fact.
Island's. No, I'm sorry. They are back, James.
When?
August 7th, Friday. A week from Friday. A week from Saturday is fireworks with Staten Island, and a week from Sunday, 3-game series.
All right, maybe that's a possibility.
A fun fact
I'll get to
about
go to the
that,
Yankee game yet.
Yeah, catch your
Maybe.
SI Staten Island and
when
fireworks.
they were playing in Lowell this past 3-game set the weekend, I believe it was.
Actually, it was Monday,
And-
Tuesday. It was Monday. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday
Okay,
this week.
And they actually had Rafael Devers hit a home run off of them.
Oh, is that Raphael
Really?
played in the
He
game?
was
Monday
playing?
night, I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
he played
He's
against.
he's coming off an injury and
he's
stuff, coming
back,
off the DL.
He's back in the lineup.
How's he
tonight.
doing
cool.
this year? Because he was so fantastic last year. It's just unbelievable.
He was good offensively last
He's been
year.
okay. His defense
been
he's
all
made
right,
20
yeah.
plus errors. His defense is a question.
Oh, so
Yeah.
But he's
Miguel
hitting, what,
Andujar has some
240?
Yeah.
competition there on defense.
But he's,
so-
I mean,
But
for a
once
second-year
again,
player who's all of,
his
what,
second
20
year,
or
he's
something?
20 years old. It's,
Defense. There's a
Same
question
thing,
about
same
whether
thing.
he can hang at third
that's,
base, I think.
That's the thing with Andujar is,
Yeah.
and both of them. I mean,
Yeah, there is
Why-
similarity there. Yeah.
yeah, they're both. Devers is almost 22.
Oh,
But,
is that right?
Um,
a little older.
But I mean, come on, they're in their second year. They're still kids. I mean,
With
they've
not
got
a lot of minor
room.
league. I mean, he
No.
didn't
They've
log
got
a lot of time in the
exactly.
minors.
They've got a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
I
True.
wouldn't be worried about Devers or
No.
Andujar at all, because they're that with they're in world class organizations with the Red Sox and Yankees. They're going to get better. I, think
I just
the
hope
same goes for
Andujar's
Sanchez's defense.
defense improves because, man.
It will over
Yeah.
time.
That's the thing.
That sounds like an issue for both of them.
It's one of those deals where are they going to be the next Mike Trout? No. So they're obviously going to have flaws in their game when they first come up for the first 2-3 years, and that's okay. It's what kind of player they are. 5 years into their career, that's really going to define how their future goes.
Good point.
So.
Good. We'll see.
So anyway, so Lakemont, but a lot more home games. Again, kind of
Yep.
an unusually long road stretch now, but again, home Saturday night with fireworks, Sunday on the road again for actually the All-Star games next week. So anyway,
They're up
All-Star
1-0
game is.
over Aberdeen right now.
Oh, is that right? That's
Yep.
good. But there are a bunch of home games coming up. Staten Island's in town, Aberdeen, Brooklyn's in town, both New
When's
York
Brooklyn?
teams.
That's my.
Brooklyn is, looks like Sunday, August 26th, Monday, August 27th, Tuesday, August 28th. And also the last hot dog night is Monday, August 20,
Oh, hey.
the third and last hot dog heaven.
What did you
night.
guys think about the whole Maple Kings promotion?
I
did,
thought it
you
was
know,
great. I like it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
it was neat.
I mean,
That was neat.
Vermont, Vermont's not maple
Yeah.
syrup. Franklin, have I given you the Franklin County stat on maple syrup? This is on me, but what I always
Mm-hmm.
heard, having been around here for a few years, it used to be Vermont produced about 1/3 of the country's maple syrup. That's now kicked up to a good 45% or so,
Really?
almost
Really?
half.
Wait,
And then
wait.
yeah.
45. Say that again.
Vermont,
45%.
Vermont, last couple of years has produced about 45%, nearly
no.
half of the countries
Right.
of the U.S.
And
maple
Franklin
syrup.
County produces
I
what
al-
percentage?
I always heard Franklin County was about 1/3 of Vermont. So I
Really?
take, if that holds true, Franklin County
15% of the-
is producing about 10 to 15% of the U.S. of the country's
Mm-hmm.
maple syrup crop out of this county. If that's rough stat holds true,
And I
that's
think
pretty
Vermont's
amazing.
percentage will increase. There's an
Maple's
no,
going
there's
crazy.
but there's a conglomerate that's
Out
purchased
in the-
about
out in the-
1,000 acres.
Out in the kingdom.
Yeah, Northeast Kingdom.
In fact, it's actually Joey who is our board president. I think he's one of the key guys with that operation.
Really?
A former board president of Northwest Access TV, who runs the place and actually maybe he still has it. I don't know if it's still open. You know that I have little history with it. If you go up from St. Albans, whatever the state road is, you come into the T intersection just west of Highgate Center, Highgate Village. You've got the store in front of you, the restaurant. You know the store I mean, James?
Oh yeah, Joey. Yeah, sure.
That was
sure.
Joey. That's
Joey's
the
Junction.
guy who I think
yeah,
Joey's
yeah.
Junction.
Yeah.
That Joey is, I think, the key guy.
Really?
Out in the Northeast Kingdom
Well, it's funny.
maple operation.
I'm
I
doing
believe.
maple sugaring operations with my partner Doug Rollo
Wow.
in Highgate, and we have a
We,
significant.
we may come back to maple syrup, but
we
we got another
should.
call.
We have
Fire
another
away,
caller.
caller. Thank you. Go ahead, caller.
Fine looking group.
Hey, I reckon Mr. Fitzgerald. How you doing?
Hey
Good.
Jim.
Very, very distinguished looking, and just outstanding talent you have there, Richard.
Hey,
You have the counselor with you. The counselor has returned to the show.
Well, I'm here on one night stand. They can't endure me for a long term.
always good to
run,
get James back and Nick's back from a nice trip to North Carolina. He checked out Duke, Carolina, NC State. He was all over the
Yeah.
triangle, Jim.
All
He's
over
a
the
Tar
place.
Heel.
Yeah, sounds like so. Not even close, huh? Have you been a Tar Heel? So forget Duke. Duke never had a chance.
Forget Duke, yeah.
Spoken like most people in North Carolina. Duke gets few good
Really?
words. Duke gets few good words anywhere. Let's face it. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm used to that, Nick. I'll try not to
fine.
take that personally.
Well, I'm very impressed with this group tonight. A lot of savvy there.
So what's going on, Fitz? What's on your sports
I don't know. The Red
mind?
Sox are running away with things.
Isn't it scary, Fitz? Doesn't it seem like things are almost going too good, too well?
Well, it makes you wonder what might happen. You're right, Richard.
It's a little scary.
But boy, they've got a lot of talent on that.
Even
ball
last
club.
night, Kimbrel comes in, blows the save, gives up a homer
Goes
in the
out and
ninth.
still
I'm
gets
going.
the win.
I'm not watching this game much longer. In the
Right.
top of the
Yeah.
10th, the Red Sox go crazy
Yeah.
with Mr.
Yeah, I know it.
Thornburg not looking very good in the bottom of the 10th.
Yeah, and that's
That's
something
a little scary.
that I think the Red
It
Sox might
is.
have to think about, and the fans might be a
But
little
they're
bit
they're
concerned.
very strong.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you look at it, Alex Cora really has not had any problems yet as a major league manager.
Not a lot.
And what happens if, something happens to the Red Sox
Or you
here
just
and they go
want
on
Chris Sale to
and,
come back.
and
That's
they
the
go on a
biggie.
slide in the middle of August or in early September. And what is Alex Cora going to be ready to handle that? So I think that
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
They haven't had a slide yet.
right, and everybody goes on slides. My only worry right now
Let's hope
is,
it's pre-World Series if they go.
Yeah,
on the
that's
slide.
right. There you go.
is that the
There you
Red
go.
Sox, the regular season is going so perfectly that something's just gonna go wrong come October, and that's because if the Red Sox go out and if they go out win 115 games this year and then lose in the
that's
ALCS
gonna be-
to Houston or whatever, I mean,
Which is absolutely entirely possible.
it's possible, but I mean at that point, like.
Yeah, it's
What do
gonna
you think
put a
about
real-
the season?
yeah.
I mean,
Well, you
at this
talk
point, it's going to
about
be
a
World Series or
Ball
bust.
club suffering the consequences of injuries.
Right.
That Yankee team is really paying for the loss of Judge and
Yeah, I
so
can't wait
forth.
for Judge.
Well, you
to get
see
back
how valuable
personally.
Judge is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's a great fielder as well as a slugger, and
Yeah,
he
he's
has
very good.
grit and he has a wonderful clubhouse demeanor, and I think
Apparently.
he's the real deal.
Is he
so.
back? I didn't believe for a second when I heard he might just be out for 3 weeks. I just missed that right away.
Well, the
But is he
latest
back
was
fairly
he
soon?
still has pain in his wrist, and what Aaron Boone was saying is once the pain goes, everything's going to fall into place quickly.
Yeah.
But
No, he's a key guy for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Definitely.
Don Carlo's come on after a horrible start. He's putting together a pretty decent year.
Yeah.
No, the Yanks
Your
are
old guy at
good team.
Boston, Richard, is going to be gone for the rest of the year with the Yankees.
Say that
The guy
again, Fitz?
you always
Yeah,
thought was
Ellsbury.
underpaid.
Yeah,
Yeah, he. Hip
You and I
surgery,
used to
think
argue
it was,
about
yeah.
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be out for the rest of the year with the Yankees. I don't think that's any loss. They owe him
Yeah.
$47 million.
When was the
on
last
his
time
contract.
Ellsbury even suited up for the
Ellsbury.
Yankees?
Yeah, but there's 3 more years
Yeah.
to go with this nonsense.
Yeah, that
too.
wasn't one of their
Right.
best Yeah, we certainly had a lot of talk on this show about that contract.
Well, you
and-
had the Panda, what was
Oh,
it?
God.
Sandoval.
Believe me, the
yeah.
Red Sox have had way more than this year.
Yeah, but no,
And
that
was-
has to be the worst
And that's
signing.
nothing compared to Carl Crawford. Talk about a guy I would
Yeah.
figuratively
At
kill in a
least-
second.
Yeah, that's right. I
Right.
forgot about that.
And I don't think either of those are as bad as Jacoby Ellsbury.
No.
because-
Yeah, the money, just look at the
I mean,
dollar.
simply-
Jacoby wasn't a
Look
good
at
signing, is it?
look at
Yeah.
Ellsbury. He hasn't even suited up for the Yankees
I think
this
he's
year.
getting $21 million for just going from medical event to
think,
medical event.
I think honestly, what the Yankees should do with Ellsbury probably over the offseason is just do the same thing the Red Sox did with Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez.
Or they
was
did
gonna
with
say,
Alex
Here,
A-Rod.
take
They did
take the
with
rest.
A-Rod.
Take the rest of your money on the contract. Just go away. Get as far as as far away from New York as you possibly can. Because
Well, he takes up a Rossi spot right now.
Boy, the Hanley thing, that was, hey, kudos to the Red Sox. I had extremely mixed feelings about dumping Hanley. And Dan
Right.
Shaughnessy, a
It's
writer
worked out
who's
for
one of
him,
your
yeah.
top writers, he was about the one critic out there. He said, terrible move. He adds life to the clubhouse. He's been a
Yeah.
good postseason player. I haven't heard Shaughnessy go back on that, but I'm assuming he would agree that the Red Sox, as it turned out, made a pretty good move, just saying goodbye
Well,
to
at
Hanley.
some point you have to move on, but it's a very painful hit. I mean, it's a very painful hit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think it
There is
counts
a time and
against
place.
the
You're right, Jim.
yeah, and it counts against the calculation of the penalty, and they wanted to get under what is it, the 197 million
Luxury
threshold.
tax thing, yeah.
Yeah, so and they
Red
are
Sox,
they
Red
are.
Sox weren't concerned about it, I guess.
No, and then you reset. So they'll reset, and so they'll take the hit on that. But yeah, I guess the last year they can buy out for $5 million, but for the next 2 years
Really?
they're stuck at 21 or 22
For
million per.
for Jacoby.
Yeah, for Jacoby. Yeah, so
That hurts, but as a Red
Yeah.
Sox guy, no one beat up the Yankees for
Yeah.
bad contracts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is awful.
Well, it's a good show, gentlemen. I'm enjoying it.
Hey,
Thank
take
you
care
for
and
the
good luck
work.
on that campaign there of yours as well.
Pardon?
Good luck on your campaign to be our next
Oh.
representative.
Well, thank you, counselor. And
Yeah,
we're working hard, pounding doors.
that's what counts. That's
Jim
what
and Mr. Fitz, I saw a sign. I'm always interested in who Frank Coffey, whose signs he throws up in his lawn. I see you're one of the elite up there. Congratulations.
Yeah. Frankie and I go back a long ways. He's
Yeah, I
a great
bet.
guy.
That's
I
good.
bet.
That's good.
He's good. I got a lot of signs out and about 75 more to put out. I don't like to overburden people with these damn signs. They have to be moved and people mow, and they're a real pain in the neck. But if you don't put them out there, then you're not campaigning with the rest of the group.
Yeah, it sounds like something you have to do if you're running.
You have to do it, and I dislike it. I don't like it. I don't like to maintain them, and I hate to ask people to put them out. But it's just one of these things that you have to do it. I put more out today, and they were received quite well from people I asked. But pounding on doors is critical.
That's it. You got
when you
it.
get
Hey,
to be my age, it becomes a little more difficult.
Hey, good for you.
There's 700 voters in the town.
Is that right?
In the whole
700 in
city.
that district?
Yeah, that town district is up by the complex, and up
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And every driveway up there is a mountain and a half high, I guess.
Wow.
But we got those all done, and I'm about 58% of the city done,
Of
and
course, it's
all of
in
the town.
Fitz, not that I have to tell you, obviously, interesting situation with the House District James and I both live in, and obviously you live in. 2 open seats. That doesn't happen. Boy, Kathy Keenan, talk about a
Yeah,
pretty
she was
solid
wonderful.
career.
I
Franklin
miss her.
County
I miss her.
losing,
Yeah.
boy, probably its most knowledgeable lawmaker. Just an outstanding
Yeah.
job by Kathy, who I thought would be with us forever, but I guess nothing's
No, well,
forever.
you'll be in the same mold, Jim. I know you will. So just
Well, thank you,
Hang
Council.
in.
It means
Hang
a
in.
lot to me,
yeah.
and
Well,
I've got to get elected first.
that's always a good
You
prelude.
annoy some people too going to the doors, but I've never been able to win without doing that.
No, you do. You know.
Fitz, anybody giving you any grief about changing parties, or is that issue doesn't?
I don't hear an awful lot about it. I had
Yeah.
some lady tell me today that somebody emailed me tonight and chewed me out because we had some brochures of mine in mailboxes, which we're not supposed to do. It's unlawful, and I understand that. But we've talked amongst ourselves as a group not to put them in the mailboxes, and I'm sorry it happened. But we didn't. I didn't do it intentionally, and I want people to know that we realize it's against the law. Oftentimes, there's no place to put them other than the mailboxes.
Yeah.
You might as well throw them in the wind.
Yeah, I find some of that
The
stuff in
doors
my
are locked.
mailbox.
I even put them under pots of flowers on steps just to get them, stop them from blowing away. Of course, they get wet if it rains. But other than that, there's not much backlash at all. And I suspect this is one of those, perhaps
Look, if that's
by the name that I know.
if that's the worst mistake you make during this campaign, you're golden. So.
Well, I'm sure I'll make more than that, Jimmy. But
No, it's all right. But you have a good attitude when you make a mistake. Nothing wrong with saying I'm sorry.
no, I
made a mistake.
apologized to her and said I was sorry it happened, and she said, "Well, don't let it happen again." Well, I hope it doesn't, but I can't guarantee it won't.
No.
We'll try not to.
Yeah.
What most people, a lot of people don't understand, the mailbox does not belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
It belongs to the United States government.
Is that right? The mailbox belongs to the government, huh?
That's right. You
Really?
put a mailbox, Rich, on the side of your house, you don't own that mailbox.
Even the one, I mean, mine is attached to my house. So you're telling me that doesn't belong to me, huh?
No, it does not.
Huh, interesting.
It's the United States government property.
Huh. They're
And,
not taking very good care of it.
Well, you have to take care of it.
No, I gotta take care of it myself, huh? I can't call somebody and have them
It
come
belongs
over?
to the U.S. government, but
Huh.
it's going quite well. We're working hard, and we need a lot of help.
Good.
Thank you, gentlemen, for a
Next
good show.
Feds. We'll see ya.
Take
Yeah.
care, Jim.
So
Bye.
Nick, can you tell me there's an event, I think a reasonably important event in Vermont next Tuesday. Can you, any idea what I'm thinking of? We are talking politics here, I'll give you a
Yeah.
hint.
What,
Oh, is
Vermont-
that
Next
the
Vermont
Wednesday?
primary election is
Okay.
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday. What did I say?
You said Wednesday, I thought.
I don't think so. Yes,
Okay,
I'm well aware it's
Tuesday. Yeah,
Tuesday.
August
I said
14th,
Wednesday.
August
I've lost my
14th.
mind totally.
That's all right.
No, you
No,
got
no.
the wrong date for the record. August 14th. Didn't you just say
August
the 15th?
14th.
August
14th.
14th.
August
Tuesday,
14th.
August 14th.
Yeah,
We're
that's the
clear.
day.
Anyway, any chance you'll, given that any thought, any chance, you paying any attention? Will you vote?
I'll go vote, and I'm
good
probably
for
going to
you.
go do some
Good for you.
some research on some candidates because I know absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
So
good
I might
for
have
you.
to consult with you after the show because I know.
Happy to I'm sure James would love to
quite a bit.
consult with
So
you
does
about
Oh,
a
yeah, well, I'm
certain race.
opinionated, and so
James would love to
I have
consult
an
with you.
opinion on everything, so of course.
But yeah,
you can do that.
I've always believed that it's not only our right but our responsibility to go vote. So
Good.
Nighthawk
I'll be
will watch
voting.
this
I'll be
show on
voting.
tape, and he'll be very happy to hear you say that. Of your friends, have you got your friends, your young friends? Anybody? Will any of your friends? Have you got any friends who will also be
I highly
voting?
doubt that very many of my friends will make a priority.
What about
to go to the
what about
polls.
November? Forget the primary. What about November? Will at least some of them
I
be
mean,
voting
if-
in November?
Probably, but for Vermont, I don't think many people that I know at least really know a whole lot about it or really care too much about it, which is it's kind of unfortunate. But I mean, I think everybody at this point, people my age are either just so involved in politics that that's all they want to do, or they can't be far enough away from politics.
And probably out of those two choices, I can only assume most of them can't be too far away from it.
Right.
Would want to
right.
be as far away as
Yeah,
possible.
I think it's just so. it's become the country's been so divided. Oh,
Well, that's the
especially
problem.
as for my generation's lifetime, the entire country's been so divided for as long as we can remember.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where you don't really want to put your opinion too far out there, because then you might have people coming at you from the other side, and it just gets nasty.
I hear you.
so.
I hear you. Yep, I hear you.
But I guess
But I hope people still. I hope
Right. You
people
would
don't
hope people
walk
would-
away from things.
would vote. Yeah, for
well,
sure.
I have to say one thing, and
Yeah.
that is probably the election this fall nationally. I'm not talking Vermont.
Yeah.
Is going to be potentially the most important of any in the last, certainly in my lifetime.
I mean, the House and Senate, the midterm elections.
I
House
think
and
it's
Senate.
critical. I was watching
Boy,
in this
both-
regard.
both- Both up for grabs.
I was watching Bill Maher, my favorite
You're high on
comedian.
Bill Maher, right?
Yeah, and one of his guests was Steve Schmidt, who was
Former
John McCain's,
Republican.
Yeah, former Republican, and John McCain's campaign manager, former GOP strategist.
Yeah.
And he said that, we're at a crossroads in terms of democracy, and if you really avoid this election, you're not staking out the future of this country. And we're at a crossroads where many people, myself included, feel that potentially the opportunity for democracy, small d, to reign supreme is being challenged. And unless we change the current attitude in Congress and the subservience to a dictator, if you will, in the White House, I think we're in real jeopardy. So I've made my political speech of the day, but that's how I honestly feel.
Speaking of the president, I won't characterize him as you did, but I guess I'm not sure it's today, but he's got a journey to the congressional district right across from Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
Lee Stefanik.
Stefanik.
Says he's going to make. Was that today that he was going to be at Fort Drum?
To Fort Drum and signing some bill, but let's see if that happens. But no, it's a matter of concern, and I really think that we need to. The problem in our country is that whether you like Trump or dislike him, the thing that I'll fault him in the most is that a president has the obligation to bring people together, and when you're president, that's your paramount primary responsibility to bring us together. E pluribus unum, bring us together. One out of many comes one, and that's the one area where we're divided. And I think, who was it? I guess my favorite, Bill Maher, said that 9 out of the 10 classic characteristics of a dictator Trump now has, and one he doesn't, is wearing a military uniform. So if we see that happen, you'll have all 10 there.
Well,
So
James, before Nighthawk in absentia kills me, let's move. Let's get
let's
back
move
to
on
some
to
sport.
sports.
Boy, a sad headline in the Globe today. Nick, I saw your
Yeah.
picture of Jerry Remy. Jerry Remy, the great, the iconic Red Sox TV color guy. Again, boy, another bout with cancer.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, hopefully we'll see him in the future. Boy, I'm not sure we're going to see him again this season. Just kind of recurring. I think lung cancer going back, and he was a smoker, which sure probably didn't help him. But no, there are no details. But I guess Nesson released a statement just saying he's bad. Jerry Remy battling cancer again. So boy, Red Sox Nation. I mean. And again, it's been such a treat, which was mentioned in the Globe story, such a treat with Dave O'Brien, who I think is a very solid play-by-play guy, Remy and Eck, who I love, Dennis
great team.
Eckersley.
Such a great team.
So we've had 3 for Red Sox fans. That's what a treat to have those 3 guys in the booth. I mean, things don't get much better with the team playing great.
Yeah.
So anyway, good luck to Jerry, who's got some more battling to do.
Yeah,
Now, on a
definitely.
positive note, as a New York Giant fan, Dave Gettleman is recovering from.
That's
Oh, is that?
good, too,
yeah.
Oh, is that right?
He's
a cancer
in remission.
situation? Oh,
Remission.
really?
That's
So-
awesome. Yeah.
So that is so.
Hey, speaking of your New York Football Giants, what I've
Sure.
been hearing about Mr. Beckham, he was, I guess, hoping for mega buckos from the Giants,
and
the
it
Giants
didn't happen
said,
this round.
Giants told him, hey, why don't you play, keep your mouth shut, and have a good
He's
season,
doing it.
and we'll
He's
talk.
doing great.
He's doing that.
I have to commend him. I never thought this would
So
happen, but
he has been on
he's
good
doing all
behavior.
the right things, and his agent apparently left town without concluding a multi-year deal. The problem was over valuation. I guess
Right.
the Giants are valuing him on a level with not quite it's 17 million. I think between 16 and 17 million, and he feels he has to be at least the highest paid wide receiver, which I think takes it out to 17.5 million.
Really?
Antonio Brown is the highest paid. So
Did the Giants, were the Giants showing, those numbers out? Would they have signed, if he had agreed to like 17 mil, would they have signed
no.
him?
The Giants are around 16 million. They valued him like Sammy Watkins.
But
the
the
same
Giants,
level.
if he had agreed to that, would the Giants have already
they're
signed him to
talking
long
about it.
term?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
If I,
See, so
I'm
he's
not
holding
signing
out
le-
so he's
Right.
quibbling over like what, a couple
Well,
mil or so?
I'm not sure his agent at least
No.
is, but to his credit, he's shown up to camp. He's
good.
been a great teammate. He's gone full throttle, and who would have thought that?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the new Giants management and stuff. These guys
I think the
sounds
Giants
like
are-
are pretty serious
Yeah.
and weren't going to maybe put up with some of this stuff to the extent.
Yeah, I
they
think the
could have
locker
stopped
room
it.
is certainly a lot healthier than it was last
And
year.
Gettleman and the new coach. These guys sound like they had better things to do
They're
than
excellent.
put up with that
Right.
stuff.
I don't criticize many of their moves, and we'll see
They got
how
a
it
lot better over the offseason.
Yeah, but they still, in my view, have three glaring weaknesses. Right tackle, I don't see Eric Flowers holding up for the season. Even if he does, they need another tackle. But their most glaring need is cornerback. I just don't see that
Well, and
holding
they,
up.
They might have one with Eli Apple. Who knows?
Yeah, but that and Janoris Jenkins,
Right.
but you need depth, and who's going to be playing the slot corner? They had on the supplemental draft, hardly ever do teams make
Yeah,
picks.
they did
Third
get a
round pick,
quarter.
this guy Sam Beal, who first practice with the Giants tears out his shoulder, so
Oh,
he's gone
really?
for the whole season.
Really?
Oh,
So
Wow.
they lost a third round pick. I guess they rated him as a second round pick maybe
in
next
the-
year,
in
so
the
they
actual
could
draft.
have him available for this season. First practice, I think the first minutes of the
Is that
first
right?
practice
Wow.
tears out his
Sounds
shoulder.
like a Gordon. Well, of course, Gordon
Yeah.
made it to the first game of
Yeah.
the regular
Yeah.
season, but
And that's it.
Wow, that's
so
tough.
they need a cornerback desperately, and their place kicker Rosas. I don't. They say he's a young kid. Give him another chance, but he was probably the worst place kicker in the NFL last year, and let's see how that plays out.
so how many wins do you give your New York Football Giants, James?
I hope I'm wrong. 8-8. I think.
Yeah, I think that's about where Nighthawk is, hoping for better, but I
8-8.
think that's about.
Yeah,
Aren't some of the official projections showing them with like 6 or 7 or something?
Yeah, the official one, I think, the NFL
6.7 or
Pro,
something, whatever it is.
6.
It's
six.
so hard to
Six.
predict
Yeah.
everything.
It is.
But I think, I honestly think the Giants could, if they can stay healthy
Yeah.
and they can put everything together, I can see them going 10-6.
And Eli's got his back.
Could.
They got
Eli
they got
is looking
seemingly
great.
a great back out
And
of
if Beckham is there, and
I
this,
think that they're going to be.
Barkley.
I've just thought all offseason that the Giants are going to be that team that kind of comes out and surprises everybody.
They've done
They
that
could.
before.
I
They
think
could.
Saquon Barkley is just going to be that good, and I think Eli Manning is kind of got.
Well, he could have.
They've lit a
His
fire
blind side
underneath
is
him by-
covering. His
Yeah, right.
shoulder is his left tackle now,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I think Eli Manning is out to prove something this
Yeah.
year for sure. So
I'm sure he is.
I would not be surprised to see the Giants do really, really well. So,
I think their defense will be solid, except in cornerback. I mean, their linebackers have to be at least 100% better. Most recently, getting Connor Barwin. I mean, wow, and. They're really they're looking good, except they have these, in my view, at least 2 of the 3 spots I mentioned are glaring weaknesses, and they need to address it.
yeah,
But
I think they're a much better overall team though
Yes,
than the
yes.
Patriots. So I mean,
well, I don't know. So how do you see the Patriots?
I like
I think the
kinda
Patriots
like-
are really, really depleted. I think one
that
or two.
right?
I think
Boy, that's-
1 or 2 injuries, and the Patriots could be in big trouble this
You're
year.
going a little farther than I would, but I think it's kind of good. I think a lot of people are saying, boy, the Patriot, Vegas always,
Yeah.
hey, of course the
Obviously
Patriots.
still a
And they've got
playoff
the
team.
AFC East to deal with.
Yeah.
But I
And
think,
I think
still
that they'll
there's
easily get through the
line
AFC
on the
East,
Patriots. Yeah, this isn't a
Patriots'
this isn't a
offensive
great
line
team, but I think
concerns me.
that's great for the Patriots. That they love to. Everybody loves to play off.
But look at the
nobody respects
look
us
at the
and stuff.
AFL East. I mean,
right.
Tell me if there's a weaker conference.
No, I think
Right.
this is still.
That's where. That's
if
where it's
Edelman
good,
comes
but-
back and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
The thing I'm just worried about when it comes to the Patriots is that their offensive line right now is pretty much at the lowest point.
They've
it's
taken
been
some hits
in the last 5 years. I'm just afraid, and when you combine that with Brady being 41 and the
Just turned
trend of
41.
injuries
Yeah.
among quarterbacks in the NFL,
41 is
And
Boy,
you're
if
getting up
obviously-
there.
Brady,
You're
Brady
getting up
ever
there.
goes
Right.
down.
Yeah.
right? If Brady
Brian
goes
Hoyer?
down, I
Hey,
mean, what
Eli
are the
Manning is a
Patriots gonna
youngster.
do?
He's only 37. I mean, just a
But,
kid. Just
yeah,
a kid with a dream.
that's why I don't think the Patriots will have too many problems getting to the playoffs. I think they'll at least get to the AFC Championship, but I mean that team's one major injury
you sure
away
don't,
from
and
being
you sure
an
don't see
average
us,
team.
and even without that, you don't see a Super
I
Bowl team.
can see a Super Bowl
if
appearance.
everything
I think.
goes just perfectly for them.
I think they can get back to the Super Bowl. I don't know about how if they could win the
Well,
Super
their
Bowl
defense,
just because
they can't possibly
right,
turn
the
in a worse
NFC,
defensive
right.
effort than they did in the last Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
What a and of course the Malcolm Butler
Yeah, tell me,
issue.
what was the real deal there?
You
About
think
why
I
was
knew?
he
If I
sacked?
knew
think
that, I'd
anybody
probably be a
knows,
pretty
yeah.
rich
I mean,
person.
what was the story?
Belichick, it was a great interchange. Shaughnessy is very good. I mean, he'll ask questions that should be
Yeah.
asked. This was when Belichick
Yeah,
had
yeah.
his first. It was like
It's
about.
never gonna come
It was
out?
like about 5 minutes. Coach, I know you
What
don't
were
like
you
to go
thinking?
here, but everybody, the world wants to know.
What
and
was going on?
Belichick, I probably doesn't even call him Danny. Say, hey, yeah, we're focused. That's last year. We're focused on this year. That's all
I'll never
Belichick ever
understand
says.
it. I'll
Yeah.
never understand
But Butler didn't say much. Again, he was
Right.
sick the week before.
Yeah.
Supposedly had bad practices.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell
Yeah.
you. But Butler's never. I guess Butler doesn't know.
Don't you go
he
with
played
your
one
strength?
play. He played one play on punt return coverage or something.
Oh.
I don't think of it as even a defensive back.
That's
So again,
unbelievable.
Belichick will never. Why? Belichick's obviously never going to go into
Yeah,
that.
one thing I can guarantee though about the Patriots is that when I'm not saying it's this year, not going to say it's next year,
Yeah.
but when Brady, Belichick, and Kraft have the inevitable breakup,
Yeah.
it's going to
Not gonna be a pretty
real
sight.
messy. Yeah, the Patriots
You don't
are
blame the
gonna be-
Pats. I do get, and again, there's plenty of criticism to throw at the Pats, but I get tired of it. Every week I'll mention beating them up about Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't impress
No,
me.
no,
Sure, they
no.
should have gotten better than a second round.
No
pick.
one believed.
But what are
he
they
was
going to
that
do?
great.
Right.
They
They
should be paying. If Jimmy G was
Right.
on the team, they're paying him about 20 mil, probably more than Brady, to back Brady up. They're not
No,
going
but
to
he
do
wouldn't
that.
have.
He wouldn't have
earned-
even
he wouldn't have
re-signed,
received
no.
that because it's not like everyone knew he was like Aaron
Right.
Rodgers waiting for Brett Favre.
Well,
I mean, he
we'll
was
see.
viewed as being really, really good, but
No, but I'm saying
no
if
one
they
knew
had,
he
they
was
had
gonna be
kept him,
that
he was
good.
off his contract. If he had
I
stayed,
understand, but
if they had
they would
wanted
have had
him
to
to
pay
stay
him
around,
some
I think they would have had to pay
significant
him
money, but not what he's earning now. Nothing close to.
Well, I don't know. I was hearing if they wanted
Really?
him around,
Did
they
everyone
would have had,
re-
maybe
re-
they would have had to franchise him.
Really?
They would have had to
Really?
pay him about 20 mil, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
That's why this criticism,
Okay.
it's such easy criticism. Why were the Patriots so stupid letting Jimmy G go? Because they're not going to pay a backup 20 mil. A really simple answer.
But then, if that's true, you would think more than a second-round pick because you
No,
don't
that-
pay anyone 20 mil unless he's a
no,
franchise
that's not
quarterback.
unfair criticism.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going to stick with Brady, which they decided to do, understandably, the guy's
Yeah,
been a pretty
understandably.
good pro quarterback.
Yeah.
Although one guy I'll mention, Colin Cowherd, I heard he's your CBS. Does he mean anything to you? One of your radio talk show guys. He's pretty good. I hear him
Oh, yeah,
every day for his line on the Pats, and he loves the Pats. Say these are cold-blooded. These guys, as Nighthawk says, they'll make a move a year too early rather than a year too late. But he's beating him up. I guess he's saying, hey, just like they've done with every other move they've ever made,
Yeah.
they should have been cold-blooded. And I guess he's saying, Tom, great job, thanks. Here's a Rolex. You've done a great job for us. See ya. But time for a new guy and gone with Jimmy G.
I'd like
I
to-
don't know anybody else who said that, but that's what he says.
In
It
fairness,
That
I mean,
seems like a pretty tough thing to do.
Sure
Hey,
does.
Tom, 5
You know,
Super Bowls, good luck. Have a
Right.
maybe some other team can
at the
pick you
time
up.
the trade was made, honestly, I don't think the whole world knew how great Jimmy G
And
was
for the
going to
record,
be.
as Nighthawk
Well,
would be quick to say, he's played all of 7. Again,
Garoppolo
he's played 7
last
games.
year. Last
so let's
year,
not
Jimmy
put him
Garoppolo.
in the Hall of Fame.
That's
I
right,
just,
that's
I
right.
just want to say Jimmy Garoppolo's stats from last year with San Francisco: 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. So
Oh, is that right?
yeah, he really wasn't all that
But
great.
he
was
was
good.
winning.
He was. He
winning
hasn't
on a
lost
team
a
that
game.
was
He
was.
hasn't lost a game.
But
yet. But don't put
they
him in the
played,
Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
played
not
a
yet,
bunch
not
of
yet.
really bad teams too. So
That helps.
I think that saying that
little
he's
bit of hype about
that he's
Jimmy G.
great is
Yeah.
a little bit
Pre-
far-fetched
pre-
right now.
premature
Sure,
at
he
least.
might go out and make the contract worth it, but I I don't know. I think that saying he's a great quarterback and putting all this pressure on him right now, saying, "Oh, the Patriots should have replaced him."
Well, if you can go from GOAT
Yeah,
to
it's a little
if you can go
premature.
from GOAT to great like Jared Goff in 1 year, you can go the other way
Yeah.
around.
I
great
was
to great.
the main criticism of the Pats. I think, in fact, I mentioned this to other Giants fans. The Giants quarterback they picked up, the guy from University of Richmond.
Yeah,
He sounds
Kyle,
like a decent. He was the guy that I was hoping the
Ledetta, yeah.
Patriots would have drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the Patriots should have drafted a seemingly better quarterback higher up. That's
Who was
my
it? Gil
criticism
Brandt,
of them.
I think, in the analyze said that was one of the
This
best picks.
guy sounds good. I
Yeah.
would have loved the
Yeah.
Patriots to have picked him.
The rap on him is he doesn't have the arm, but he
Yeah.
claims he does have the arm. But
No, I think that was
he's-
a good pick.
Yeah, it was a good pick.
Pretty sure they
Patriots
said the
finally
same thing about
drafted-
Brady back in the late 90s.
Yeah, well, there you
but-
go. So he could be good. Not bad for a fourth
The
round
Pats
pick.
finally drafted the LSU, kind of a weird name.
Danny
which
Etling, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like the guy's got a good arm, but this is a pretty low pick, so I think
Yeah.
they should have drafted the guy you guys got.
Yeah.
But
Fourth round pick
anyway,
is all
but
right.
geez, football. So we have Pats and what? Pats and Skins tomorrow night.
Yeah.
The
sounds like
Giants
fun.
against Cleveland. That's
I'd like to
the
be
worst
playing-
team against the next.
I'd like to be
worst.
playing pro football
Yeah.
on a hot summer
Right.
night.
Right.
Like to watch it though.
Yeah, boy, all I care about, there's one, you can
I'm
probably
excited
guess,
for
there's
college
one thing I
football.
care about in exhibition games, pretty obvious thing. No injuries, please, don't
Right.
injure any key guys. That's
Yeah.
all I care about.
Yeah, if I'm the
It's
Patriots.
inevitable.
As a
Yeah,
Patriots
that-
fan,
It's inevitable.
I'm
yeah, for
hoping
sure.
that Brady doesn't even get a snap in the
He
preseason.
probably
honestly.
he probably won't even play tomorrow night, or
He
maybe
might
a
he might play the
few
first
snaps.
series. The starters usually do play that first
Is
series.
that right?
there,
One
but
series maybe.
I wouldn't. If
Brian
I'm Bill
Hoyer,
Belichick,
we'll see most of the action,
I
obviously.
want to see Danny Etling playing
the
the
rookie.
whole preseason.
Is he
no,
number two, Etlinger? Or?
We're gonna.
Who's the number
I
two
believe
behind Brady?
Hoyer will.
Hoyer is-
Brian Hoyer's number
Brian,
two.
that's right.
The guy they
Hoyer,
drafted
yeah.
number three.
I would love to see Etling get the majority of the snaps in the
Yeah.
preseason.
Oh no,
just-
I agree. Play him. Hey, if
yeah.
Brady gets
Let's
injured,
see
I
what
mean,
happens.
good luck.
Yeah.
They'd better have someone who can.
Right. And you look at the
You know,
way the
do
NFL's
something.
gone the last few years with Andrew Luck. I mean, Deshaun Watson last year.
Yeah, great. A
NFL
great-looking
quarterbacks.
quarterback.
NFL quarterbacks are taking a beating.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be ready for everything. And
Yeah.
obviously, you don't want to be banking on Tom Brady getting hurt, but you got to be ready for
Sure,
it because
I-
it's
Sure
a
you
very.
do. I
it's-
agree.
Yeah.
The possibility of it happening is likelier than ever
Absolutely.
right now. So
Brady's
it's just
done
something
pretty well.
Patriots
The
need
one
to know,
season he
need to be
lost, but
ready
he's
for.
been in for his long tenure.
He's been
had
very
a
healthy, yeah.
very
Yeah.
healthy.
Knock
No, you're
on
right,
wood,
Nick.
yeah.
I totally agree.
Hope
Don't
that
assume
nothing
this
happens,
guy.
right?
You know, he's not only not going to be around forever. Yeah, you never know,
Right.
season to game.
Well, he says he wants to play another 3 or 4
He
years.
was saying
I
that
think.
before. I get the sense
Yeah.
that just with all the supposed rift, and there's something to it, I think. It sounds like
can't
it's
see
been
this
a lot
going
of
on
years with
another
these
5
guys.
years,
I'm
no.
not hearing Brady talk so much these days about another bunch
Who
of
was
years
that
and
guy?
stuff.
Why am I having a memory moment?
I can
He was a
relate.
place kicker. He was a quarterback. Played into his late 40s. Come
No,
on.
geez, George Blanda. George
Yeah,
Blanda?
yeah, George Blanda.
Yeah,
George
right.
Blanda. How he
Of course,
retired around 47,
Gino
48.
Capoletti, the great Patriot, was
Yep.
a kicker and receiver.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, George Blanda.
George, thank you, George.
You're welcome. I
Senior
remember
moment,
there are
that's all right.
a few things I remember.
George
a
Blanda.
few.
There you go. So maybe
Nick, I haven't touched my water. If you want more water, help yourself. I promise I haven't touched it.
that's all right. It's
Haven't
all right.
touched it. Anyway, so football's bad. Here's a story. This is actually the Wall Street Journal does some decent sports. This was in yesterday's paper headline. The NFL's helmet rule results in identity crisis.
That'll be something to
I'll
watch.
just
this
read a
year for
little.
sure.
Just
So
read a
the
little
identity
bit of this.
because why the
So they're new helmets. Of course, the new rule is
can't see the
you can't
face.
tackle somebody going after them with
Okay.
your helmet.
Yeah.
But let me just read a little of this. The new rule penalizes players for lowering their heads to make contact with any part of an opponent's body, not just the head. The rule theoretically can be applied to the offense or defense, although using the helmet as a weapon has traditionally been a concern for defensive players in their tackling. The reaction, however, including from people the rule is designed to protect, has been at times severe. If the penalty is called too much, star cornerback Richard Sherman said it could, quote, ruin the game. Quoting Sherman, you just hope it's not called that frequently. They're trying to overcompensate for public opinion. This is nothing short of an existential crisis for football. Everyone from parents to former players have clamored to make the game safer. But there's only so much that can be done without
Yeah.
radically changing the sport.
Yeah.
To put it another way, not everybody wants football to go soft. I'll stop there.
Yeah, leave it at that.
It's,
But
Yeah.
boy,
it's one of those situations where the players are obviously
excuse me.
the players they're not gonna really they're not gonna care right now about their safety perhaps as much as the guys who are done playing and are realizing these effects that they have long term.
Which the NFL belatedly seems to be trying to
Right.
give them some help.
I-
Of course, a lot of these players are already long gone.
Yeah,
Well, the
I
big-
just don't. Something's gonna have to be done, but like I don't think that there's really
Is there
Football
any
is
middle, is there
football.
middle ground? I mean,
I don't think there
It's
is
a-
a
it's
middle
a
ground.
You're
violent
playing
sport.
football. You're playing football.
it's a violent
I
sport.
think
But Nighthawk goes crazy with stuff like I think the game has gotten so soft. I think he's
Right.
afraid, as a bunch of people are, it's
Well,
going to be gone in
yeah.
X number of years.
I think
It won't be the game we know.
I think football in 25 years, if it's even still a thing, will be substantially different than
Right.
what
is
we
there
are
middle,
watching
is there
now,
enough
what
middle,
we're watching
is there
10 years
just middle
ago.
ground?
What's
Can
the
you
middle
find
I don't
middle
think there
ground?
is because
You aim for the neck instead of the
right,
head. I mean,
like,
what's the middle ground?
and these defensive guys have said, hey, if we aren't allowed to lead with our heads, we're just going to go for the knees, and that's going to create a whole different
Yeah.
problem because
Everyone's
I mean,
gonna have a knee
right,
injury, you know.
it's-
And
and-
I feel bad for, I think especially for
Either
the
way-
defensive players. It seems like
Right.
they're,
right.
there are new rules every year. I mean, you are supposed to tackle the guy,
We're talking
right?
about rules. What do you think about the national anthem rules and the fight?
Is that,
Sorry,
is that
Nighthawk,
still,
here we
is
go
that
again.
still just murky? Didn't they
No,
had the
no,
new rule? Didn't they back
it's-
right off that?
Well, they're
No, well,
allowing
the
teams
rule
to-
the rule now, as I
Yeah.
understand it, is the NFL adopted a policy that
Players can stay in the locker room?
they
or-
can stay in the locker room, but there will be a fine assessed. And so
Yeah.
our beloved president has said that's awful. It's worse than the original stance, which basically is anyone who kneels doesn't deserve to be an American, get out of the country, that sort of thing. And Aaron Rodgers, though, I think had a perceptive
did.
statement
Yeah.
on it. He essentially said, you know what, football should just be quiet on it. Just do what you want and
Right.
don't react. If Trump says something, he
Right.
says it. Leave it alone
Yeah.
and do what you want. But
just don't react.
The
Yeah,
concept that a president, or for that matter, any politician, can dictate what a private corporation, the NFL, will be doing is kind of anathema. But let you do what you want to do, but don't react to it. Just don't react to it.
Right.
And,
So I
Yeah,
guess we'll
that's-
see as early as tomorrow night
Right.
what starts happening
first,
this season.
Yeah.
when this whole thing first started, which seems like it was 25 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
I was like, okay, well, yeah, this is kind of disrespectful. I wish they wouldn't do it. Now, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Just as long as you go out there and play football, I don't care. If you want to stand up and make a statement,
Yeah,
go right
do
ahead.
it. Do what you
go
want.
right ahead.
You know.
If you want to sit in the locker room during the national anthem, that's your choice. It doesn't really affect me. It doesn't affect anybody but you. I mean, so I think people have made their. I think that this has gone completely away from what it was originally
Absolutely.
intended for,
Yeah.
which really stinks because I think people ultimately were trying to put a good message across right here, starting with Kaepernick, and it's just been flipped around
But what
so
Aaron
badly,
Rodgers
and it's turned
also
into a
said-
giant mess.
What Aaron Rodgers also said is that there are a lot of subtleties to the issue, and it's not just you're for this country or against it. It has nothing to do with respect for the military, but apparently, if you haven't lived it, you can't talk it. I'm not black. I don't know what it's like, and I've never been assaulted or anything like that. But I guess if you feel that way and you live it and you believe it, it doesn't necessarily mean disrespect for the flag or for the military. It's your way of making a statement, albeit in a way I don't feel comfortable doing, but who am I to judge someone else?
Yeah.
And it's not black and white, no pun intended. There are subtleties to it, and to characterize anyone who takes a knee as being unpatriotic and deserving of being stripped of their citizenship, that's absurd.
Yeah,
So understand, but just ignore it. You know,
Yeah.
why do the TV cameras have to focus on them?
Right.
Just,
Right.
In the old days,
Exactly.
I mean, before this became an issue, you see the cameras would pan the faces of the players,
Yeah.
and everyone, leave it alone.
Right. And
And make your statement, and
Right.
that's it.
For the
But
NFL
that sure sounds like it's not at all likely to happen.
Yeah.
Given
well,
this.
as long as
Right,
all the owners react and the players union, and leave it
mention the
alone.
president.
And move on.
Yeah, and with the NFL, I think obviously came in and just with them coming in and trying to like make rules for this is just it's awful. I mean, why do you need to focus on this when you've got a game that is
And Trump, to his
really
credit,
dangerous? This should be at the back of everyone's minds with as we live in this same world where former players are committing suicide at 50 because they've got traumatic brain injury. So
maybe this is different, but
I mean, this is just it's a pointless
but I have to say
discussion to be having.
Trump, to his credit, admitted to Jerry Jones that he's doing it because it appeals to his base. He's right, and it's a very savvy political move. It energizes the base, and it'll strip out a few others who might not be a part of the base and become the base because it's perceived as if you're pro-America, you're going to stand for the national anthem, and if you're not, you're on the knee, and hey, this is great. Someone's standing up for that principle. It's a very savvy political move on Mr. Trump's part. I'll give him credit for it.
Anyway, so we got football season starting. Any basketball or hockey news? 5 minutes left, you guys. Oh, here's a name. Talk about growing up.
Yeah.
In Boston, the six original teams, including the Bruins.
Yeah.
And there goes some papers. And the Blackhawks. We just lost Stan Mikita.
Yeah.
Talk about
he was great. God, was he?
Boy, I mean, his
with Bobby
name,
Hull and Mikita.
Yeah.
Talk about one of the great
That was a
Blackhawks.
legendary line.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
he played all 20 plus years with the
Yep.
Blackhawks. And
So
that-
every year, right?
every year.
As a Blackhawk.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
Boy,
center.
talk about a
Man,
great
I remember,
name.
he was the player.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough to see
Yeah.
these old hockey legends
Yeah.
passing away here. Gordie Howe last
Yeah.
Gordie Howe.
There was
couple
some
of years ago.
Bruins
Yeah.
news last week. This guy fortunately hasn't passed away, but if you're a Bruin fan, this guy had a lot of good years for the Bees. Rick Nifty Middleton is
Yep.
going to have his jersey raised to the rafters
16.
in Boston.
Yep.
After a very good career with the
Yep.
Bees.
That's exciting. Yeah, he's one of those guys who's definitely deserved it for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to see that happening. Definitely one of the all-time greatest Bruins for sure. So.
Yeah, James. What about your any Rangers news of note?
They have a lot of cap room. They got rid of all the.
That's what happens when you get rid of all your good players.
Yeah, I think they'll be quite mediocre. They have Lundqvist and
Lundqvist is still there.
Oh yeah, and
what do you think they should do with him at this point?
I think play him. He might have a good 2 or 3
But
years left.
if you're going to be bad for the next 2 to 3 years,
Understood,
why don't
but
try
do you
move
want to
him?
be bad or awful? And
I think they.
Of course, the Canadians are kind of
Yeah.
said the same thing to Nighthawk. You
spot,
got Carey Price coming off not a good year, but still a
Right.
very good goalie
I'd
with a big
definitely
contract. Do you keep him? Or do
I
you,
think they definitely owe it to Henrik too.
well, I
because
certainly agree on that
he's-
proposition. If he feels that
they should let him go win a cup.
if he
somewhere.
feels that way,
Right.
maybe that should be the route. But my sense is that he would like to stay with the Rangers, and they're trying to build up the youth. I didn't agree with their draft, unlike the Giants in football, where I think the Giants had a fantastic draft. I think the Rangers had a lot of top picks, and the pundits at least feel that they kind of reached and didn't get
Yeah.
the players that they could have or should have.
Yeah.
But with time will tell, and we'll see. But they have a lot of cap room, and they can make some moves.
Yeah. It's going to be a couple of years for the Rangers.
I think
it's
so.
a process
I think
for
so.
them. I mean, they've got the new coach
Yeah.
coming in from Boston.
Yeah,
University.
Boston.
So,
Right.
I personally really I like that move. So
Quinn.
yeah.
Quinn.
And they're headed into any other rebuild that we've ever seen before. So it's going to be a couple of years. That's why if I'm them, I'm trading Henrik Lundqvist. Go get a first-round pick from a cup contending team. And
We'll see. I
put
think
that
he's worth
together.
more than
That's a
first
tough
round
pick.
pick.
Because
It's a tough
I think
call.
that it's obviously a tough call for them. But I mean, we saw Henrik Lundqvist in the 2014 finals there against the Kings after.
Well, he gets
that
tired.
loss.
He
I mean,
doesn't. He's as you age. And
well,
not quite,
I think he's just. It was you could just see the emotion in him
Yeah.
after he lost that. You could tell just how much winning the cup would mean to him. So I think that they
Well,
definitely.
he's not going to win it with the Rangers.
Right.
That's
I think
almost a given. I hope I'm
Right.
wrong, but I think
How old is he?
he's mid
30s
30s now.
39.
Oh, is he
Okay,
really?
is he
He's a
that-
little older than
yeah.
I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, they definitely. I think the Rangers owe it to Henrik Lundqvist.
Oh,
to,
Terry Sawchuk played for quite a few
To,
years.
uh,
Terry, another great
Dump
name for hockey.
Worsley and
Right.
Yeah, and I loved it. And the old goalies, folks who
Yeah.
weren't even wearing masks. Anyway, that's going to do it.
yeah.
Hey, thanks, folks. You covered a lot of ground. Nick Mumley, Nick, great to have you back. Again,
Yeah,
I'll try not
thanks.
to take the Carolina Duke thing too personally.
All
And
right.
for the record,
Sounds
I did
good.
log time at both campuses, have degrees from both units. James Levy, great to see you, James.
Great to be back.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, folks. Duke Forest, Richard Coverthwaite signing off. We'll catch you next week. See ya.
The answer.